This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans. New Schools for New Orleans is excited to announce that our Katrina 20 exhibit, After the Storm, 20 Years of Change and Progress in New Orleans Public Education, is now open to the public. You can experience this powerful look at how our schools have transformed since Katrina at the New Orleans Public School Library's main branch, 219 Loyola Avenue, during regular business hours, now through December. Bring your friends, family members, students, and colleagues. Looking for a group visit for your school or organization? Email us at info@nsno.org.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. During an appearance on CBS's Face the Nation, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the shutdown is hurting the economy and warns service members could miss paychecks by mid-November.
This is a Democratic-led boycott, and I'm just not sure what they're doing.
He blames Democrats, calling the standoff a global embarrassment as the Senate gridlock continues. A federal judge is weighing a challenge to National Guard deployment in D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwalb says it violates federal law and risks normalizing military use in domestic policing. No ruling has been issued yet. And New Edition is hitting the road with Boyz II Men and Toni Braxton for the New Edition Way Tour. The 30-city trek kicks off January 28th in Oakland and wraps April 4th in Houston, Texas. Tickets go on sale October 31st. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Sutton, and with me today is Reverend Dr.
Good morning, good morning. I'm back in the building.
Sanders.
Good morning, good morning. Let's give ourselves the bell, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome back, man.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. You're the world traveler. I tried to reach out to this brother yesterday. He's like, "Can you give me a little minute? I'm getting in from the airport."
I'm deplaning.
What?
I'm deplaning. Yeah, I went
so
to.
Is it a secret or what?
Oh no! Just for the weekend. One of my cousins, who are really close with, asked me to perform his wedding ceremony in Charleston.
Nice.
So I had to be with the family. So it was good seeing some cousins I don't see too often, and some friends and family. That's where my parents are from the Charleston area. So so I had a good time.
How's Charleston?
I didn't see too much of it, but I think they're making it. Yeah.
So basically in there.
Yeah, I'll say this: it's growing. It's growing. It's a high growth area. I mean, a lot of construction, a lot of building going on. Yeah.
Cool,
We're glad to be home.
Safe travels.
And
there was a lot going on around here, man.
Woo! Yes.
Oh man, I mean, so there was the happy times with the New Orleans Film Festival, and there were church activities and events, and we had Treme Fest, I think it was. And I mean, just a number of things. There were so many things. I mean,
yes.
I have to laugh when people say there's nothing to do.
Oh,
there is so much.
They just don't know where to go. That's all. Yeah.
And then the rain came in on Saturday afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
so that caused some disruptions to a number in events, and it continued on Sunday with more. But one of the big things that happened on Saturday was that the LSU Tigers lost.
I tell you,
big time.
They lost.
They lost big time.
I saw the first part of the game. They were doing pretty good for a while.
What happened? Man,
well, people were predicting that that Mr. Kelly, Coach Kelly, was this game was playing for. He was playing for his career, his job, and. So it is. LSU don't play games. They expect to be in the top 10 at least every other year, if not every year. And when we've dropped so far below that.
Well, not making the playoff.
Yeah, exactly. But
Especially with the expanded playoff.
exactly. Yeah. So if you're not even in the top 10, you know, at this point in the season,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
you're.
you know,
it's a wash.
I mean, that was like the closeout game in terms of moving forward
That's right.
on the season.
That's right.
And I mean, they probably could have made some bowl somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been the popsicle bowl or something, or the cotton candy bowl.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But 45-25
Yeah.
to Texas A&M. Granted, Texas A&M.
You say
good
that
team.
granted, yeah, their
They're a good
quarterback
team.
is something special.
And, oh yeah,
Their quarterback is special. He
yeah.
reminded you almost of Johnny Football,
Hey,
as
that's
they did
good.
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
they were, but still,
But that was
we
man,
deserve better than that.
the way the season's been going for LSU.
Yeah,
It's just amazing. But it
Yeah.
does make me think about all the money that's invested in football and in coaches in particular, because you know it's been a while. It's not
Well,
like this is new. It's been a while
Yeah.
since head coaches made less than the president's.
Oh, yeah.
University.
Well, and I believe, I could be wrong, but I think LSU was still paying Ed Ogeron.
Absolutely. He's
So,
doing just fine
yeah,
without a coaching job.
Yeah, so
and I believe without any job.
that's right.
You know,
And
so-
I mean, but the money's there. I guess for us to spend. I mean, because he's only 3 years into his, being
into the fourth season.
into fourth
yeah,
season.
into
Okay,
the fourth season.
yeah, yeah.
But his deal was $54 million for the buyout.
Buy me out. Buy me out.
I love this work,
Yes.
but here's $54 million. Just go.
I tell you, if someone had told me when I was a kid that coaching was going to pay like that, I tell you,
Oh,
I really
man.
would have been studying some X's and O's.
Yeah, so
You know?
they already looking for another coach.
Yeah,
But they got a new interim coach.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
But I heard that there was a rumor. Now this is just a rumor that Tyrann Mathieu was saying he was interested.
Oh,
Hey, that was just a rumor. I
Oh.
don't know. I don't know.
Well, that
One of
could be-
LSU's best.
that could be interesting
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But they got a new coach. His name is Frank Wilson. He's one of ours
Yep.
from New Orleans and from St. Aug.
All right.
2600. Where's the bell? Where's
Yeah.
the bell?
All right. All right. 2,600 strikes again.
Yep. So he is the interim coach. But he has been Kelly's associate head coach.
Okay.
So he's been first among assistants and associates
Okay.
under the Kelly leadership team. So he's worked with Kelly for the time that he's been there, and he also is a former LSU Tiger football program coach. So he's very familiar with LSU.
He knows the halls and the building.
Yeah, he knows the campus. He knows the football facilities, the now improved football facilities, and he was very successful at McNeese, where he was before.
Yeah.
And LSU said, "We got something for you.
Well,
Come back home."
he has about a good bit of the seasons left still to prove himself. See if he can do something with this group.
Well,
He's auditioning
yep.
these next several games.
Well, yeah, and depending on whether Kelly gets another job, will determine how much of that $54 million he gets. Because I'm not used to having these kind of negotiations, but if we ask you to leave and you get another job, we're going to reduce the payment by the amount that you get, which is interesting.
Is that in the contract? Was that the contract?
It's in the contract.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
like, okay.
All right. Hey.
Like, but how do you exactly know what they get? I mean, I might tell you that I'm going to get $3 million.
They know
I'm taking a pay cut.
that stuff becomes public knowledge information pretty quickly. Yeah. It's hard to hold on to those millions of dollars information, but we wish the team well. They're even with their record, they're still doing better than the Saints.
Oh Lord, man!
Maybe Coach Kelly can come to the Saints.
I tell you, there were a lot of people pulling for the Saints. still pulling for the Saints.
Yeah.
Who that? You know, pulling
Yeah.
for the Saints.
We
But
haven't
one
had this
and
record
seven?
since when? Since ever.
Oh,
Since I
my.
was a baby, I think, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
This kind of
it's pretty
record.
bad.
Yeah.
And the coach was being pestered by fans and others to say he needed an experienced quarterback,
Mhm.
not a second-year guy and not a rookie. And he said, no, I think we have what we need. We're going to build a team around them based on what we have already and based on moves that we're going to make.
Mhm.
So he stuck with his quarterback room.
Yeah.
They had a good competition during the offseason, and he went with Spencer Rattler. And there have been some Spencer Rattler fans for a number of reasons. Of course, he's a black quarterback,
Mhm.
and people have been pulling for him, and other people have continued to say you need an experienced quarterback, and it's not time for the rookie. Well, yesterday, it was time for the rookie.
Yep. Yep.
So Coach pulled Spencer Rattler out
Mm.
before the game was over, and Tyler Show went in,
Yep.
and he was doing his quarterback moves, but didn't seem to make any difference.
Amen.
Didn't seem
Yeah,
to make
I was
any
on the
difference.
plane coming back. I didn't see the game. I just heard about it. So, yeah. So, what? I was right. He didn't give Taysom a shot, huh?
No.
Okay.
No. He tried him before with some other plays,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems like they have a game plan and a strategy for Tyson, and they're going to stick to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So-
it just seemed like we lack the explosiveness. I mean, we can't do no big plays, you know, and then can't make big plays, then you can't make small plays. You know, it's hard to keep people focused.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there's some news that people might want to know about, and we got an incredible show ahead for you. Going to tell you about
Oh yeah, yeah.
that in a minute. But there was some drama yesterday. A 7-year-old boy from New Orleans East was reported missing, and so there was quite a flurry of activity. But fortunately, he was found last night. So that's bad news turned good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was a
But you know, it seems more and more we're getting these alerts, and it's good that the city is now sending these alerts.
I know. It
I
really-
got
yeah.
the alert and everything, and so it's good that we're doing that now.
Yep. And over in Plum Orchard, there was a hit and run crash and fatality.
Oh.
So that was reported yesterday afternoon in the 4300 block of Eastview Drive, and officers found a male driver of one vehicle injured, and the paramedics took that guy to the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and then he died. So another person was involved in the crash, but he ran away.
Wow.
He ran away. So not really sure what happened, but one of the people involved is dead, and the other is running around
Yeah.
somewhere, or maybe he's off hiding by now because of what he may or may not have been involved in.
Yes.
And in Ponchatoula on Saturday, a 6-year-old boy was missing after the father allegedly assaulted the boy's mother, with
Mhm.
a hunting knife
Wow.
and took the boy. So they did get him, 45-year-old Joshua Beal. So he's wanted on counts of home invasion and aggravated second-degree battery of a dating partner, and allegedly injured the boy's mom about 10 p.m. Saturday and took the boy, but then they got him.
Yeah.
So unfortunate situation. When I read or hear about things like that, I think anger.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think anger and loss of control. Even if your relationship is bad, you can, get angry, and the angrier you get, the more often you get angry, more likely. Because if your relationship is really good, I mean, you're not going to get angry.
That's right.
And I know you have a sermon for that.
Be
but-
ye angry, but sin not.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
And there there was 16-year-old boy from Destrehan who was arrested with a shooting that wounded an 18-year-old over in St. Charles Parish. So that is being investigated as well. So that's just a few things from the news that you might want to know.
And of course, the shutdown continues.
Oh,
People
yeah.
have missed their first paychecks. Some federal workers.
Yep. Yep.
So, you know, I don't know how many federal workers we have in the city of New Orleans, but people are being affected, and we'll see about the food stamp situation. I believe they said the governor signed some emergency declaration where food stamps will be taken care of
in Louisiana
for the month of November.
For the month of November,
yeah,
because the federal government said that there will be no money sent out on November 1.
Yes.
No money.
Yes.
No money. So a lot of big changes are happening.
Yeah.
In part because of the shutdown, but it's also very clear that the administration is taking advantage of this opportunity to make some other changes that they want to make.
Yes.
Coming up during the Good Morning Show, we're going to be going to break shortly, but stay tuned, because today we're going to have the runoff candidates for City Council District E. It's most of New Orleans East and the 9th Ward, and we're going to have State Representative Jason Hughes in, and we will have former City Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen in as well. So they will be here spending time with us, spending time with you to talk about why they are the best and should earn your vote. Early voting starts on November 1 and continue through November 8th. It's too late to register for this time, but the election is on November 15th. So you want to stay tuned to that coming up on the show. Even if you don't live in District E, there's going to be another person on City Council who will be making decisions for all of us. So stay tuned for State Rep Hughes and former Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen. It's 7:21. If you got somewhere to be at 7:30, we hope you get up and get going because the school zone is still in effect till 9. Watch out for the babies, and you be safe for you and the other drivers. You're listening to WBOK 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
Day long.
Good morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. LSU fans are still wrapping their heads around the Tiger decision to fire head coach Brian Kelly. Kelly was let go Sunday evening after the embarrassing loss to Texas A&M in Baton Rouge. Frank Wilson has been named as interim head coach. A little bit about him: he is a New Orleans native. Wilson has been with the Tigers since 2022 as running backs coach and associate head coach. Now the focus will be on who will be the next head coach for the Tigers come next season. One popular name being mentioned is Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin. Others include James Franklin, who was fired from Penn State, Matt Campbell, Jeff Brom in Louisville, and Arizona State's Kenny Dillingham are also in the mix as well. The Saints once again getting defeated on the field, this time by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was the first time this season the Saints took on someone in the NFC South, and it didn't go well for the black and gold from the very beginning. Kellen Moore even made the decision to pull out Spencer Rattler and play backup quarterback Tyler Shuck, but this didn't seem to matter at all. The final score, 23-3 Buccaneers. And Governor Jeff Landry issued an emergency order so that residents of this state will receive SNAP benefits in November. Landry said it's his top priority to ensure that people don't go hungry due to the government shutdown, especially seniors, children, and those with disabilities. Landry also says benefits from previous months can still be used. However, new benefits will not be loaded onto SNAP cards until the government reopens. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK, and have a great day.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. One of the most lasting images of former NBA superstar Shaquille O'Neal's playing days is him tearing down basketball rims while dunking like they were made of paper. But today, Shaq wants to build, and he's got a new partnership to do it with.
There's a tremendous need in the U.S. for better infrastructure. You know, you see it in your roads, you see it in your airports, your train stations, and I want to help make that change. And, Jack Mel is the partner that can help me do that.
That's Shaq speaking to Bloomberg about why he joined forces with Jack Mel Infrastructure. That's an investment firm that focuses on big construction and utility projects across the country. Shaq joined the company as a founding partner and says he's looking forward to winning big in the infrastructure space.
Every time I win a championship, it's because I have great teammates. One with Kobe, I'm winning in the broadcast with Charles Barkley. So I want to also win a championship in the infrastructure space.
I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
At Skechers, comfort is a technology. That's right. You don't just make a shoe and hope it comes out comfortable. It takes research, innovations, compounds, engineering, and so much more to feel so comfortable you'd swear you're wearing pillows on your feet. We have features like Skechers Air-Cooled Memory Foam and fits like Relax Fit, Stretch Fit, Wide Fit, Arch Fit, and so many more to make the shoe feel like it was custom-made just for your foot. Plus, we have hands-free Skechers Slip-ins technology. Just step it and go. Find yours at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever comfortable footwear is sold.
Hey, this is D. Riley from the 90s Hits R&B Jams. Make sure you listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday night from 7 until 9 p.m. I'll be giving you the best R&B jams from the 90s. That's right, all your favorites and more. With me, D. Riley, your host of the 90s Hits, right here on WBOK 1230 AM, or listen online at WBOK1230.com. WBOK, the station you listen to longer.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Sutton, and with me is Dr. Torrin.
Good morning.
Sanders.
Good morning. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back. Always good to have you back. And if you're out there about to drive or driving, please be careful on these streets. It's a beautiful day, not raining like it did part of the weekend, but we want you to be safe. Drive slowly. Take care. Cover yourself. Watch out for the other drivers because we know it's not you, but the other drivers who might be not so careful and foolish as they're driving the roads. And watch out for the babies, of course. So, one of the things that happened last week was that the governor called a special session.
Yes.
To move the election dates from January qualifying and an April closed primary for both parties. Looking to move that to May. Now, the special session didn't have to be called. If they called a special session, it didn't have to be called for this.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were going to look at the election calendar they didn't have to move these election dates. The governor's point is that now that we have had a Supreme Court ruling, hearing on a consequential voting rights case, they could rule at any time, and therefore we need to be ready to obey the Supreme Court decision. Now,
well,
of
yes,
course,
yes and no. Now,
that's his argument.
Yeah,
that's his argument. That's why we need to do it, because we need to see what might happen.
What they're really saying, in the hopes that what they want to see happens in terms of the Calais case, in terms of the Supreme Court saying that these maps are unfair, that allow for the majority-minority districts, according to the Voting Rights Act of Section 5, that if they overthrow those, turn those over, get rid of them, of course, it'll affect Louisiana primarily, but also has ramifications for the rest of the country and could wipe out the vast majority of majority-minority districts, such as we have here with Troy Carter and then now Cleo Fields. So from their standpoint, they're saying in the hopes that happens, they want to be ready to have redrawn maps. Of course, they already have the maps, I'm sure, but those redrawn districts, and then so that they're not burdened by having to undergo another round of the current status and everything under the current maps. Right. So, so that's cheeky, huh?
Yeah, it is, because they don't have,
and patently unjust.
Yeah, they don't have to do this. I mean, they could leave the calendar the way it is, and that would mean that we would have the districts as they are drawn for at least one more term.
For one more term, which
and
would be two more years.
Supreme Court case can be considered for the next time.
Yes.
I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't expect some kind of change. It's just a matter of how significant the change will be.
Yeah.
And then how the state legislatures respond to that. So they don't have to be in Baton Rouge.
No,
so let's be clear. They don't have to be there.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do this.
Yeah.
But they decided that's what they're going to do to buy some time.
Yeah. And changing election dates is a big deal. You know, this doesn't happen often. You know, generally if it happens, this because of some natural disaster or something like that, you know, where then we need to change dates because things are rendered logistically impossible to have or what have you. So this is being done for the sake of politics, literally.
It absolutely
to be being done. And I commend, you know, the Democratic and Black Caucus leaders for speaking loudly, for calling it out. And so, you know, this is something that we'll see, of course, because of the representation in terms of Democrat versus Republican. Fortunately, Democrats don't have really the votes to stop it. So I think it was you mentioning off air, the special session will probably end pretty quickly because they're able.
It could be done by Wednesday.
Yeah, they'll be able to do what they want to do with the quickness and not have to delay it anything. So, and I don't know, have you talked about really what this means historically? Why, you know, I mean, I mentioned this a little while ago, but have y'all talked about that on the air before?
Talked about it a bit, but you know, I think we're talking about more and more because of what this could mean. So,
you know, I think it's important to note, and I mentioned this at my church some time ago, just from a historical standpoint, you know, from the founding of this country, 1776, until basically the first 100 years, you know, only white males could vote.
No.
In this country.
Only white male
property owners, that's right, could vote. That's right. Even restricted mode, could vote. So, I mean, almost 100 years, if not exactly 100 years or so. And then, of course, after the Civil War, and you had the passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, period of Reconstruction, known historically, then blacks began to be elected. My research says that during the Reconstruction period, about over 2,000 black folks were elected around the country. And in terms of in the Senate, U.S. Senate and U.S. House, smaller numbers, around 30 in the I believe in the House, or it could be vice versa, and then a few in the Senate. But we had some representation. And then after Reconstruction was over, by 1877 or so, by 1901, there were virtually no Black elected officials. And so we've already seen this. We had a period, 12 years or so of this political gain and related gains, and then within almost less than 2 decades, it was all snatched away. And of course, from early 1900s until 1965, the Voting Rights Act, the year I was born. Then after that, Blacks began to be elected again, and of course you have, it drew of the Voting Rights Act. Yeah, well, not with the help, because of the Voting Rights Act.
Yeah.
And of course we have then Shirley Chisholm being the first Black woman being elected to Congress, and that was in 1968 or so.
That was monumental.
The first Black woman, and in 1960s, the first Black woman was elected to Congress. Then later on, Barbara Jordan from Texas, and on and on. Of course, the first Black mayor is Carl Stokes in Ohio, and then of course Dutch Morial here.
Richard Gordon Hatcher.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to go there. Yeah, I was. You're right. That was Indiana.
My Hatcher people.
Yeah, okay, that's
like,
right.
Wait.
Right. Yeah. But I guess I was trying to bring it to New Orleans. Right. Yeah. But so all of that happened because of the Voting Rights Act, and of course them being elected, then they passed laws. They did other things to then enfranchise Black folks, whether it's educationally, economically, and although we not where we should be and not near where we want to be, but we ain't what we used to be. And so to now remove these protections that were the cause, and it was interesting because I listened to some of the Supreme Court argument, and some of them literally act as though there is no history, but it was, I forget what Supreme Court justice it was, but she said, was it Ketanji Jackson? She said, "There's a there there."
It was her.
Yeah, she said, "There's a there there," meaning that in terms of white voting patterns and Black voting patterns, so there's the there there in terms of discrimination, and so to say that, well, the Voting Rights Act achieved its purpose. We're a post-racial America. We don't need majority-minority districts, which is the argument that they're making on the other side, is ahistorical and ludicrous, right? To use some fancy words early in the morning, So that's really what's going on, and that's why people are saying that should this case go the wrong way, that over time, within the next 10 to 15 years, we could virtually go back to having little to no Black representation again, as we happened from the early 1900s to the 1960s.
Well, they want to do it quicker than that. Which is why we have a special session, because they don't want to keep this for another 2 years. If the Supreme Court makes a ruling before the end of the year, they want to be able to act very quickly to change the maps and move qualifying in a way so you're qualifying for the new maps for the closed primaries that would happen in May. Of course, a more normal Supreme Court cycle might be that such a decision would come in the spring or even early summer.
Yes.
But the way this Supreme Court has acted in the past, they probably don't want to wait, because they too understand political maps and political season, and they're looking toward the midterm.
Yeah.
And so this would definitely have an impact, a great impact on what happens in midterms with redrawn maps. Not just in Louisiana, but across this nation.
Across the nation, yes. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean, it's quite a thing.
Yeah.
We should be paying attention. There's a big voters' right mobilization in Baton Rouge today. Powell Coalition and a number of other organizations are gathering in Baton Rouge. They're coming from all parts of the state, including New Orleans. There are buses that are taking people who want to go and have that availability. So they want a big crowd out to fight this thing. because sometimes you know you're likely to lose, but it's important that those in charge hear your voice.
That's right. And of course, there are exceptions, where we see, substantial numbers of whites have voted for blacks. You have in the state of Maryland, for example, Governor Wes Moore, one of my fraternity brothers, former military, doing a great job in Maryland. And Maryland is not a black state, but he was elected. So yeah, there are pockets of that. Of course, in Georgia, they have elected Senator Raphael Warnock, and but those are few and far between. And so the need for the black community to be able to elect representatives of their choice, and that's the language that's used. It's not that so that candidates can get elected, but that we can elect people of our choosing. Even though we are in the minority in this country, now around 13%, that we still have that opportunity. And so that districts are drawn in that way. And of course, people say, well, why draw districts these funny ways to ensure minority? Well, districts are already drawn in funny ways for other reasons.
Yeah, look at the other.
Gerrymandering is a thing. Yeah, gerrymandering is the thing. So, why not make sure that everyone has a voice in this so-called democracy that we claim to have? And so, we believe in the Constitution. We believe in democracy. Right? That's what we want to exercise it. So make sure that we have that voice. Is what this is all about.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And a reminder that we're going to have State Representative Jason Hughes and former City Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen coming in to talk with us and to talk with you about the runoff. They're going to give some of their background. They're going to talk about some of their accomplishments. They're going to talk about some of the issues that they see. They're going to talk about some of their goals, what's their vision for being the city council member representing District E. If you've got questions, go ahead and give us a call now, because we're going to move this thing along, and we hope to be able to take a few calls for the candidates. But a really good way is to call now and give us your question before they arrive and before we start. That talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. Give a ring. Let us know what your question is for the District E candidates, Jason Hughes and Cindy Nguyen.
Well, the other piece of big news was that Thursday, I guess, or Friday, that the City Council voted for the loan, as affectionately called, the payday loan.
Yeah, the municipal payday loan.
And of course, it was a necessity so that there's enough cash flow to pay our city workers, our dedicated city workers, and other bills that need to be paid. But even though the City Council voted to approve the loan process, the loan has not been approved, and that is the prerogative of the Bond Commission, which is a state entity. And so I'm not sure when it goes to the Bond Commission. It'll have to be soon. It has to be soon.
Well, that's the thing. It's still going to take some time, because the Bond Commission is not likely to say, "Oh, we better hurry up and meet today."
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm sure they can be. I'm sure they can be. They're supposed to be prevailed upon to have special meetings and whatnot. That, as a former elected official, I know that stuff. That's written in. Yeah.
They can do that.
Yeah.
But they have to want to do it.
They have to want to do it. You're right. You're right.
There has to be a good reason for them to do it. And so, but even when the Bond Commission approves, that's just another step.
Yeah.
Another step, because they're authorizing you to go to a bank. And so now we're in a situation where if you or I go to a bank and say, we'd like a loan for $160,000, not $160 million, $160,000.
Yeah.
But we haven't been spending our money well. That's a different kind of conversation.
Yes, it is.
And you're automatically talking about different types of rates.
Yes.
And so it's going to cost you a lot more money.
Yes.
Should they approve it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that they will. I'm sure, the bank is already lined up and all that stuff. They generally kind of do all of that stuff early on, but so it'll happen, and especially with the new mayor coming in, they don't want any bloodshed of that nature now. If it was a different time, I think, in terms of Mayor Cantrell's tenure, they might want to exact some some pain, but I don't think there's an appetite for our city people to feel pain in that sense. So I think it'll happen. It's just unfortunate that it has to happen. And, state law mandates the adoption of a balanced budget. And then, and what's interesting, though, is that if they're not the mechanisms in hand, I know when I was on the school board, everything then that the superintendent wanted to pay for, they had a form, and where they were getting the money from in the budget was listed there. And so whether or not, then how is the city still doing that, or it has a complementary procedure is the question. So to make sure that overtime is reined in. Now, on the other hand, I know we got to go to break, snowstorm, terrorist attack, all of that, I'm sure it blew out the budget early on before the first quarter. So
Absolutely.
Some of that you couldn't plan for.
Absolutely. Good morning, Reverend Calhoun. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, gentlemen, and yourself?
Good morning.
Fabulous.
Here's my question for the candidates. I've been watching the industrialization of the Lower Ninth Ward and exactly what's happening there. I would like to know, do they have a specific plan to address that industrialization, the grain train, the lock, all of those things that's going to play into, the industrialization of that area? And if they would, could they really speak to, within 1 minute, I guess, the specifics of what they intend to do about addressing that issue?
Okay. So
now, the other piece I was talking about earlier, that
so you're talking about the grain
Republican
train,
administration is just plain evil.
Yeah, so you're talking about the grain train. You're also talking about the expansion of the port, right?
Right. I'm talking about the lock. They want to move the industrial canal lots, 12 blocks, into the Lower Ninth Ward. So when you start thinking about all these things that's going to come, if that industrialization happens, if they start moving the locks, you're talking about shutting down the Lower Ninth Ward as well as Araby and St. Bernard for, they say, 12 years. Now, I worked for the government for 32 years. We ain't never did nothing on time. So if they're saying 12, you can look for 15 to 20, which, in my opinion, would kill the economics of the Lower Ninth Ward.
Right. Okay. All
okay.
Right. That's a good one. So thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thank you, Reverend.
Hope you'll stay tuned for when they're here.
I will.
All right. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
All right, Reverend Calhoun,
All
great
right.
question.
All right, so we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we'll talk about a few more things before our candidates arrive, and we'll get ready for them. Upcoming will be State Representative Jason Hughes and former City Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen competing in the runoff to succeed Oliver Thomas to represent District E on our City Council. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
After an eventful weekend, the work week will start quiet. Mostly sunny today with highs from 78 to 83 degrees. We'll stay dry today and tonight with lows in the 50s on the North Shore and the 60s on the South Shore. Tuesday is another sunny day with highs in the low 80s. A strong cold front arrives Wednesday morning, bringing a few showers and much cooler air. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com. NOLA Zydeco Fest is on Saturday, November 1st at Heritage Park in Slidell, featuring great artists like Rusty McTwire, Lil Nate, Wayne Singleton, Dwayne Dopsy, Cubby Carrier, and more. Go to NOLAZydecofest.com for 2-for-1 tickets, gumbo cook-off details, line dance lessons by Game Over Skip, and more. Zydeco Fest is all about family. Kids 12 and under get in free. See you at Heritage Park in Slidell on November 1st for NOLA Zydeco Fest.
Come on down. Yeah, bring your bees.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. My name is Will Sutton, and with me is Dr. Reverend, full Professor Torin Sanders.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite one of those? Which of those official titles is your favorite?
Well, hey, well,
I know you might like
what
husband. I know
yeah,
you
that's
like
what I'm saying. Husband and father.
The official title.
Yeah, I
like?
love being a pastor, of course. You know that's what.
How many
that's
years?
the one.
About
That's
29 years.
Yeah, well, almost. Yeah. That's the one God gave me. You know, the other ones I asked for.
You're right. I hear you. All right. So we got just a few minutes, and we're going to be going into our City Council District E Candidates Forum right here on WBOK. So you want to make sure that you are staying tuned, but also make sure that you reach out to those folks you know who live, work, or play or attend church in the New Orleans East or in the Ninth Ward.
The Lower Ninth.
The Lower Ninth, yep.
That's right. Where Reverend Calhoun is.
Yep. And, that is something that should be of interest to them. Early voting is starting on November 1 and continues through November 8th. And the election is November 15th. And we'll keep reminding you of that. But here's the thing. All of us in Orleans Parish get to vote on the clerk runoff. Those of us who live in District A get to vote in that runoff. And those of us who live in District E get to vote in that runoff. So parts of the city will only have one candidate to vote for, separate from the bond measures, and we'll get to that. And then some parts of the city will have the bond measures, a city council candidate, and the clerk runoff to make decisions about.
That's right.
So this is very important. There was so much attention and so many debates and forums and activities and events leading up to October 11th.
Ooh, I was forumed out, I tell you.
and we haven't seen much of that.
Yeah.
At this point, moving into the runoff. So we here at WBOK are very happy that Jason Hughes and Cindy Nguyen agreed to this forum for you.
Yeah. And we're going to get to them, but there was one other thing I think we need to celebrate. This Friday, I guess, or Saturday, ends. Is it in hurricane season, or does it go to November 30th?
Yeah, November.
Yeah, November. But I think it seems like we're pretty good. But unfortunately, the people of Jamaica are facing a possible Cat 5.
Yep.
Coming to them. So I know that many of us have been to Jamaica or have friends or in Jamaica, and I don't know where we'll go after Jamaica. But definitely need to pray for them and be thankful that thus far, this late in the season, that we have not even had to pack a bag to go
been
anyway.
Really, amazing, and that hurricane didn't seem to be much at first over there.
Yes,
and then it all of a sudden went to a hurricane.
Yeah,
hurricane category 2, 3. Recently 4, and now it's been upgraded.
Apparently,
to
it's just
5.
like stalled out there, and like they said, when the next front comes, then it will push it over Jamaica and everything. So, as people who know well what that looks like and feels like, we're definitely praying for the people of Jamaica, and hope it doesn't have too great of an impact, because it's a beautiful place.
And there are already 4 people dead.
Oh wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, in Hispaniola, that island. So that's Haiti and the Dominican Republic.
Wow.
So 4 people dead because of flooding related to that storm. The Jamaican government has called for evacuations in different parts of the island, including Kingston, where they've identified it as particularly strong threatened areas. And we're looking at maximum speeds of 160 miles per hour, 160 miles per hour, and the wind speed could increase in the next 12 to 24 hours.
Yeah.
And for
I wonder, is it possible to evacuate the entire island? Because that's because then are there structures even really, to withstand that?
Yeah,
is the question.
Yeah, and because Jamaica has had a number of storm problems in the past, and they're not a rich nation,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure they have enough structures as we did.
Yeah, as we did. I was like, I know we didn't, so I don't know if Jamaica had.
For Hurricane Katrina or more recently Hurricane Ida.
That's right.
We just didn't have the structures to stand up to the wind and the surge.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have encouraged evacuations, and then more recently mandatory evacuations. But there aren't but so many places you can go, and then we're talking about an island where not everybody has transportation.
That's right. That's right.
And not all of the roads are paved.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something to watch. I have friends who live in Jamaica and have property in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very concerned for them and what that might mean.
Yeah, we think about years ago what happened to Puerto Rico, and even though Mr. Trump didn't know that they were U.S. citizens, they were able to get some help from the United States, overall as being citizens, although it probably wasn't sufficient. But in terms of Jamaica, that would require a true international effort should the worst case scenario happen.
Yep. Yep.
So definitely, I wanted to make sure we were aware of that and praying for those people.
So Jeff Landry gets some heat on this show and this station quite a bit, for good reasons. For good reasons, that's his choice. But let's give him some kudos. Let's give him some kudos because the federal government cuts are threatening SNAP benefits. And the end of last week, the governor said, we're going to take care of it. We're going to take care of SNAP benefits in this state for at least November. Now, we'll see what happens.
$150 million.
$150 million worth of SNAP benefits with state funds. So that's going to cover it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But kudos for him for making that humane choice.
Yes.
And glad he did that. But this is a big amount to swallow, and none of us want people to go hungry or not have the food they need for their kids.
Yeah, and of course, this is because of the shutdown of the federal government. And I mentioned, I was in the airport yesterday in South Carolina, and I saw the video that featured Ms. Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security. And in their video, it was describing or talking about the shutdown, and it actually blamed Democrats for the shutdown. And then that's the reason that if services are slow, if there's not things are not moving on time, blame it on the Democrats. And I don't think in any previous shutdown there's ever been such a video or such an outward blaming in that sense of one party over the others. And of course, what's unique about this is that it's the other party that controls the White House, controls the Senate, and controls the House, and basically controls the Supreme Court. And so even though they control all branches of government, some way, somehow, the shutdown is being blamed on the minority party, which has no control over any aspect of the government, House, Senate, or the White House, or the Supreme Court.
Right.
And so, but that video was out there, so presumably everybody who, if the secretary is saying it, must be true. So you can't get your bags on time. If the plane don't come on time, call your Democratic official and blame it on them.
And there were a number of delays out in L.A. because they didn't have enough air traffic controllers.
Yeah.
So it's really having an impact on lots of people.
Yeah.
We're going to go to break.
All right.
And up next will be State Representative Jason Hughes and former City Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen. They're the two candidates that survived the October 11th election, and they're in a runoff for the November 15th election. So they are here at the station, and they are ready to talk with us and talk with you about their backgrounds and their candidacy and why they want you to vote for them. So that'll be right after the break. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
All day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans. New Schools for New Orleans is excited to announce that our Katrina 20 exhibit, After the Storm, 20 Years of Change and Progress in New Orleans Public Education, is now open to the public. You can experience this powerful look at how our schools have transformed since Katrina at the New Orleans Public School Library's main branch, 219 Loyola Avenue, during regular business hours, now through December. Bring your friends, family members, students, and colleagues. Looking for a group visit for your school or organization? Email us at info@nsno.org.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Former Vice President Kamala Harris isn't ruling out a 2028 presidential run.
I have lived my entire career a life of service, and there are many ways to serve. I've not decided yet what I will do in the future.
In a BBC interview, Harris brushed off polls showing a tough path to the nomination, but said she's confident a woman will one day be president. Bishop William J. Barber II is challenging North Carolina's new congressional map, calling it surgical racism. He plans a lawsuit, public campaigns, and a mass moral fusion meeting on November 2nd, arguing that gerrymandering undermines democracy and threatens health care and wages. And philanthropist Mackenzie Scott has donated $38 million to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, bringing her total gifts to the HBCU to $58 million over 5 years. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Sutton, and with me is Dr. Torrin Sanders.
Good morning.
Professor.
Stop.
Pastor. That God-given title.
Yeah, that's
Pastor.
right. That's right.
Okay. Well, thank you for returning today, helping us out. We're moving into a special segment of the Good Morning Show. We're very happy to have with us the illustrious State Representative Jason Hughes and the illustrious former City Councilwoman Cindy Wynn. And this is a special segment of the show. Mayoral, City Council, Sheriff, Assessor, and Clerk elections were held on October 11th, and the results yielded a mayor-elect, City Council Vice President Elena Moreno, several City Council members returning to the city's legislative bodies with wide re-election wins, and City Council member Leslie Harris won re-election without a challenger. There were wide margin wins for incumbent Assessor Errol Williams and Sheriff-elect Michelle Woodford. Left undecided was a tight clerk race and a couple of City Council races. We have one citywide election runoff for clerk and a couple of City Council district races, one for District A and another for District E. The election for those runoffs will be November 15th, but early voting starts November 1 and continues through November 8th.
So yeah, the November election will determine 3 more city seats of power, with the new mayor elected with a wide margin and city council members reelected with wide margins. The balance of the legislative branch of our city will be determined by voters who decide the District A race and those who decide the District E race.
Depending on who wins the District E runoff, we'll have a returning City Council member with a name widely recognized across the district, or a new City Council member who's been representing the district, his district from his legislative district seat, earning high marks for his legislative knowledge and leadership.
So if you registered on or before October 25th, online voter registration deadline, you're eligible to vote next month. If you did not, it's too late to register, but you can register to vote in future elections. Voters will choose someone to succeed State Senator Joseph Bowie, who has gone on to be the Chancellor of SUNO, and State Representative Matthew Willett. Someone will be chosen to take his place who wasn't elected to an at-large City Council seat.
Joining us today are State Representative Jason Hughes and former City Council member Cindy Wynn. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
We know you two have busy schedules with your regular work and running campaigns in addition to serve District E for the next 4 years. We appreciate your time. So let's get started.
All right. So first, I've been asked to give some ground rules and structure for the forum. Each of you will have a 2-minute opening statement and a 2-minute closing statement. We'll ask questions based on comments and questions from our WBOK listeners and District E constituents, and also questions that we've developed. You'll have up to 2 minutes to answer each question, and if either of you mention the other candidate, that candidate will get about 30 seconds to respond in some way or to rebut that.
The questions will include questions for both of you and questions for each of you individually. will include a series of rapid-fire questions. Each answer must be one word, yes or no, with the rapid fire. Though we have questions we know will be of interest to the district, some of these questions come from the constituents who want to hear where you stand and what you think, even if they've heard you talk before.
We've asked some of your District E constituents to provide us with questions in advance of today's forum and again earlier during today's program. In addition, if time allows, we'll take a few live calls from listeners with questions. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, so are we ready to start? All right, Mr. Sutton.
All right, each of you have an opportunity for a 2-minute opening statement. Whoever goes first now will be the second person to give a closing statement. Whoever goes second now will be the first to offer a closing statement. We didn't pick who wants to go first.
Well, we can go in alphabetical order. How's about that?
Make it easy.
All right. Well, first of all, Will, let me thank you. Let me thank you, Dr. Sanders, and let me thank WBOK for the opportunity to have this forum this morning. And good morning to the listening audience. I'm Jason Hughes. I am a lifelong resident of District E. I was born at Methodist Hospital. I was raised in District E. I was educated in District E, attended public schools most of my life, with the exception of Peralta Kitty College, which I attended for pre-K. From there, I went to Mildred C. Osborne Elementary School for kindergarten through 8th grade, and then went to McDonough 35 for high school for 9th through 12th. From there, I went to Southern University at Baton Rouge, where I received my bachelor's degree in political science. I possess 21 years of substantive experience in government and public service. My career began when I was a senior at Southern as an intern within the governor's office. Upon graduation, I was hired full-time, rose the ranks from intern to assistant legislative director. From there, I served as a senior advisor to a United States senator, a senior advisor to 2 presidents within the Southern University system, senior advisor to a mayor. And for the past 6 years, I have been a member of the Louisiana House of Representatives. Currently, I serve as the vice chairman of the Powerful Appropriations Committee, only the second black person to hold that role since the first legislature convened in 1812. From that seat, I have been able to really bring home millions of dollars to my district. Over $4 million for New Orleans East Hospital, $5 million for a new STEM Innovation Center, over $1 million for our youth in Nord. Recently, I announced a $600,000 appropriation to Joe Brown Park. People ask me, why do I focus so heavily on Joe Brown Park? Because people focus heavily on Audubon Park and City Park, and I think New Orleans East in my district deserves a world-class park. I have appropriated over $500,000 to Lincoln Beach, and the list goes on. I have taken on slumlords. I passed a constitutional amendment to the Willows became the poster child of a slumlord. And so I passed a constitutional amendment to force slumlord properties to pay property taxes. At the peak of COVID, all right, look forward to the questions.
Okay. Ms. Wynn?
Yes, sure. Well, thank you, Will, and thank you, Dr. Pastor Sanders, for having me here today. Good morning, and good morning to our WBOK listener and District E resident. Again, my name is Cindy Wynn. I am a candidate for the City Council District E seat. I am ready to serve you again. I was honored and privileged to serve as the council member for District E from 2018 to 2022. During my time in office, we did the work. $81 million of reinvestment into the district between the high-rise apartment, Lake Forest Senior Manor, and the Reveal. We approved the CEA for the Sankofa Wetland Park and Nature Trail in the Low 9, 40 acres of the site. As it comes to quality of life, we tackle those issues every day seriously because those issues matter to our constituent. We removed 242 abandoned cars, dealt with over 1,000 illegal dumping cases, and removed 139 properties from the area that was damaged since Katrina. During my time in office, over $340 million in construction investment throughout the district. From 2018 to 2019, over $10 million secured for capital improvement projects like the NOFD Engine 36, like the NOPD Fire Range, and etc. In 2020, secure over $18 million of capital improvement projects like Lincoln Beach, Lake Forest, and the Mishawaka Path. The Pecan Grove Recreational Center
in hopes of creating a New Orleans East Community Center. Our work was put on pause, and that is why I'm running again. We have unfinished business. This is my home. I've served this community for decades. As a neighbor, as an advocate, as a council member, I believe in our people, our potential, our power to shape our brighter future together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Wynn, and thank you, Representative Jason. Well, listening to both of you, you both have great experiences. You've come at public service in different ways. Talk to us about, your need to, your desire to continue to serve in this way. What is it that really motivates you? When did you first decide that public service was for you? Some of those kinds of questions. So we'll ask first, Ms. Wynn.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, I'll go. Well, thank you so much for that question. It brought me back to the time, when I first ran for office, and that was I believe, in 2010. I just had triplets, boys.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and what moved me was, looking around in my district, looking at the community where we've lived. Now we've lived in the East for now 50 years now, and just really didn't see a lot of things happening. And I felt like I had have some ability, some skills, and I just wanted to offer and really serve the community. So I ran. I wasn't successful, but I didn't give up. I recognized that there was still more work to do. Now, we did elect a council member, and then shortly after that, there was an open seat. But I felt like I wasn't ready. For me, running for office is not about the title. It's really about serving the community and the family. And so I wanted to continue to work in the community, not until 2017, when I saw that this is the opportunity. That is shortly, not 8 years after that, I decided to run again. And that whole 8 year, I work across different neighborhoods in the East and in different areas, and just really understanding our people and issues that they were facing. And so, and I offer myself, running for office is not something that is easy for me. I'm a very down-to-earth, I'm a mother, I'm now a grandmother, I'm still a daughter, I'm really blessed to still have my parents, but I'm very passionate about the people here. I care about the people here. I'm very grateful for the community here that embraced my family 50 years ago when we came back. And it was such an honor for me to be elected as the first Vietnamese American council member to the district, to serve a community that gave so much to my family and to thousands of immigrants' family. And I take those work very seriously. And that's one of the reasons why when I had the honor and the privilege to serve, I worked really hard, tackle everything from the East to the Low Nine to Venetia now, Lake Catherine, and Fort Pipe. And I'm going to continue to do that because serving the community is part of my DNA. It is in my DNA. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to run again after my last re-election, because I want to continue to give. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Justin. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that question. Public service really runs, within my family. So I am the son of a letter carrier. My dad was a letter carrier for over 30 years. My dad didn't just look at his job as carrying people's mail. He really felt people were depending on him. And so he showed up to work every day, woke up early, worked long hours. My mother was a state civil servant for over 40 years with the Department of Children and Family Services. My grandfather was in the military for over 20 years. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant at Southern University, rose the ranks to become a lieutenant colonel at a time when many African Americans were not rising the ranks in our military. And upon retirement, went into the federal government, Department of Labor, and then answered the call to become a pastor. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was a homemaker. And so all of the neighborhood children, church children, ended up at her house. Her home was a safe haven for everyone. And my paternal grandmother, who is now 94 years old, the matriarch of our family, worked at Woolsworth, caught a city bus every day for many years, served from a counter that at one point in her life she could not even eat at. And so what my family challenged me and my brother to do was just to strive to leave the world just a little bit better than you found it. And so I opted to continue the path of public service, but through an elected capacity. And so I've served honorably for the past 6 years in the Louisiana House of Representatives. Currently also serve as chairman of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus Foundation. But right now, at this consequential moment, 20 years post-Katrina, I am running for City Council District E because enough is enough. We've heard a lot of promises, but when you look at District E, 20 years post-Katrina, we see progress in Districts A, B, C, and D. But we still have a lot of work to do in District E, and we need proven leadership. And I've proven what I can do in Baton Rouge, and I'm ready to come home and do even more as the city councilman for District E.
Fine. Good job. Okay. So you each have elective office experience and records that voters can consider. Name 2 or 3 things you accomplished during your current or past public service term that make you proud. You have 2 minutes. Mr. Hughes?
Sure. Well, several things that I've done over the last 6 years in Baton Rouge. And let me just say, I am a Democrat serving in a super majority Republican legislature. And I've been able to accomplish some really tough wins. During the peak of COVID-19, when juvenile crime was pretty high, instead of taking a punitive approach, I decided to try to give our youth an opportunity. And so I passed a multi-million-dollar tax credit called the Youth Jobs Tax Credit, which incentivized private sector businesses, large and small, to hire what are considered quote-unquote opportunity youth. Those are youth living in low-income housing, SNAP recipients, youth that may have dropped out of high school. Was not an easy lift to pass that in the Republican legislature, but I did. Also passed the constitutional amendment, as I referenced earlier, which gives municipalities like the New Orleans City Council the opportunity to revoke property tax exemptions from nonprofit slumlords. In order to pass a constitutional amendment, you have to get a 2/3 vote in the House and Senate, and then a vote of the people statewide. So no easy feat, but I'm really proud to have answered the pleas of the community in passing that constitutional amendment. And then the millions and millions of dollars that I have been able to appropriate, beginning as a freshman legislator, but now in my second term as vice chairman of the Powerful Appropriations Committee. One of the things that I'm most proud of are the investments in our youth. A couple years ago, I appropriated over $250,000 for parks, not only in New Orleans East, but the lower Ninth Ward, to provide uniforms and equipment to most of the parks in New Orleans East and District E, so that our kids would not have to be on street corners shaking cans, and our coaches could just show up and do the job.
Cindy.
Yeah. So, as a freshman council member, we tackle many issues. So when you drive into the East now, you don't see an abandoned major corridor that sits there. And it actually sat there since Katrina, which is what we used to call the Caveman Hotel, or used to be the Holiday Inn. Now it has been revitalized. And I'm very proud of that work, along with the Lake Forest Senior Manor, that we tackle those major corridor within my first term in office, but also dealing with COVID-19. And I wanted to shout out to the owner of, the Caveman Hotel, but I also want to shout out to my team, because we got elected in 2017. We didn't get sworn in into 2018. I started working right away when people elected me in 2017. If I waited on that piece of property, we would not have enough time to deal with the financing and putting everything together because of COVID-19. So shout out to Peter Gardner and really working with our team and answering the call. So commercial blighted property was something that we tackle, and there's still more that we need to do. But I also wanted to acknowledge the fact that, when I campaigned, particularly in the Low 9, Leona Tate, came to me and said, Cindy, I've been trying to acquire the McDonald 19 building. Can you help me? I made a promise to her. I made a promise to the community that we were going to get that back into commerce, however they want it. And guess what? It is now a historic, iconic location that is called the TEP Center, where there's the Civil Rights Museum there, and also housing 24 units for our senior citizen. And I share that story to say that when I make promises to people, I deliver. I do not forget. I do not address it when I get into office. And so that's one thing that I'm very proud of myself, is that because I take this work very seriously. And then in addition to the commercial blighted property, the people in the East say that, we had too many dollar store at one point. I passed legislation, policy to make sure that no new Family Dollar coming in.
So yeah, we'll just ask both of you, your accomplishments. You both did a great job with that. I'm gonna flip it around a little bit and say, kind of, what did you want to accomplish? For you, Ms. Nguyen, when you were on the council, you, Jason, maybe in the last session or so, or during your career, something you promised that you weren't able to achieve, but that you'd like to, if you get a chance, for the people of District E.
Yeah, I think for me was that we really wanted to, of course, get reelected and continue the work, because the 4 years was not enough time. But we did kick off several projects that are still not finished, like Lincoln Beach. Of course, the plan was that once I get reelected, then Lincoln Beach would then reopen in my second term. Also, the former Six Flags site, which is now the Bayou Phoenix. We did make the selection for Bayou Phoenix to work with the city. And things are moving slowly. So again, the plan was that once I get back in, then we would move that project continuing. Now, one of the things that that we started with a lot of our investment that I shared earlier was like the Richard Lee Playground that we invested. The money that we put in the Pecan Grove to create a New Orleans East Center, that did not happen. And so again, those are one of the reasons why that I definitely want to get back in and to really make those projects to become a reality. And then I think for me was also the Low Nine, the work of rebuilding and repopulating the Low Nine, particularly in the back of town area, was started. And it continued during my time, and it still needed more time. So those are areas that I definitely want to get back in to ensure that we are working to repopulate the Low Nine and bring people back, but also bring amenity that could really help people to get back there and continue to work with the community. And Dr. Sand, I'm just trying to think of projects that I think whatever I share with the people that I made a commitment, we touch it. I just did not have enough time to continue it. And so, but I'm pretty sure there's room for improvement because all of us are human, and I recognize that. But again, those are the areas that we did work on, and the commitment was there to make sure that we tackle all those issues. And again, blighted was something that needed more than 4 years. We started the cleanup in the community. We started a lot of the initiative to really get people excited about District E.
Right. And same to you, Representative Hughes. Anything that you wanted to do that you weren't able to accomplish as of yet?
Well, honestly, Dr. Sanders, I'm very proud of my legislative record. And when we go into legislative session each year, we don't have the luxury of time. We have about 2 to 3 months to get some really tough things done. When I ran, I made a promise that I would adequately fund New Orleans East Hospital, and I did that. I made a promise that I would adequately fund Nord, and I've done that. I made a promise that I would invest in various initiatives in District 100, and I have done that. I have passed meaningful legislation, and so I'm very proud of that. And so my reputation is such that I'm known as somebody who just buries my head in the sand, rolls up my sleeves, and gets the work done. No excuses. And I think our residents are really tired of excuses 20 years post-Katrina. So, I like to just deliver, get the job done. That's what I do in Baton Rouge, and that's what I look forward to doing as the council person for District E.
Thank you. So one of your potential constituents wants to know what your specific plans are for improving New Orleans East, specifically with hospitals and healthcare, public safety and crime, quality of life issues such as a quality grocery store. Mr. Hughes, you're first.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate the question, and I know the question is specifically focused on New Orleans East, but as the council member for District E, I am going to be just as committed to the Lower Ninth Ward as I am to New Orleans East. When we look at New Orleans East, though, to answer the question very specifically, I always say New Orleans East does not have a crime problem. It does not have a people problem. It has an image problem. And so, number one, tackling commercial blight is going to be at the top of my priority list in order to help change that image and help to attract economic investment in New Orleans East. For whatever reason, that building on Plaza Drive that you can see from the interstate, that building has been allowed to stand for far too long. That behavior will not be allowed in Lakeview. It will not be allowed in Audubon. It will not be allowed in the French Quarter. But for whatever reason, blighted properties are allowed to stand in New Orleans East. Unacceptable. I can pledge that building is coming down. The need for a grocery store in the Lower Ninth Ward, I want to give Councilman Oliver Thomas some really good kudos for the work that he has started, working with the New Orleans Redevelopment Authority, laying some important groundwork. And I think the next council person is in a great position to ensure that the Lower Ninth Ward gets a grocery store. And I look forward to working with and partnering with Nora on that. But also in New Orleans East, we know that Winn-Dixie recently announced that they are selling their remaining stores. And there is a Winn-Dixie in New Orleans East on Chef. I have been in touch with Winn-Dixie Corporate. There are some plans underway to secure a buyer for that store. So I'm working with Winn-Dixie Corporate in my current role as the state representative. But we know in New Orleans East that we can sustain a third grocery store given the population of New Orleans East. New Orleans East is larger than the entire parish of St. Bernard. And then when it comes to quality of life issues, code enforcement, Department of Public Works, and safety and permits, 3 departments that we have to hone in on day one to ensure quality of life for our residents.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. One of your potential constituents wants to know what your specific plans are for improving New Orleans East, specifically with hospitals and healthcare, public safety and crime, and quality of life issues, such as having quality grocery stores.
Yes. Well, thank you for the listener to offer that question. And listen, from day one when I was in office, I've always worked with the entire community from the east to the low nine, tackling all the issues that matters to them. And that is something that I will continue to do as your next council member. I've always show up, listen, and be a thoughtful partner, as well as look at strategy on how do we make things happen. Because as I stated before, I don't provide lip service. I produce resolution, results, and deliver what people want. And so as we talk about things that matters to the district, for the people that lives in the east and in the low nine, we recognize that access to healthy options is really critical for our resident. That's in the low nine as well as in the east. And that is something that we're going to continue to tackle, looking at attracting the best grocers to come to the area. But also, when I was in office, we started working on looking at other avenue on how do we create healthy options for our resident, right? And there was a lot of talk about agricultural planning and where we could actually grow our own food items, because when you think about the cost of living today, it is very costly to go do the grocery. But just imagine if we are actually having these items in our community, our fruits are already growing, then that way, so I'm looking at more sustainable solution options for our community when things like this happen with the cost of living. As for services in the hospital, I know that the New Orleans East Hospital is growing, and I want to continue to ask all of our listeners to make sure that we continue to support organization, entities that are in our community, and that's how you sustain services in our community. We need your support to make sure that you're coming out, utilizing the quality services that are being provided at the New Orleans East Hospital, as well as the clinic in the low nine. And I've heard the resident over in the low nine that we need more of something that, because the clinic over in the low nine is only open from 8 to 5. We need something that is beyond that time, and that is something that we need to tackle and really bring an urgent care to the area. But at the end of the day, issues that matters to the people in District E, I have always been at the forefront tackling those issues, and I will continue to tackle those issues to make sure that we come up with true resolutions that you could actually see.
So, well, first, if you just tuned in, this is WBOK 1230 a.m., and we're here hosting a forum with the 2 remaining District E Council candidates. former Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen and current State Representative Mr. Jason Hughes. I'm here with Will Sutton. I'm Dr. Torrance Sanders. Question for you. We'll have you start again, Ms. Nguyen. With crime, I know so years ago, several years ago, New Orleans East was seen as having a large crime problem, but I think it's fair to say that New Orleans East has pretty much led the city with some crime reduction in recent years. Talk about your assessment of crime in New Orleans East. Is it down? And then if so, what needs to be done? What would you do to continue the progress that's being made?
Yeah, so thank you so much for the question. And listen, I've lived in District E for a buku of years. You know, I've never felt unsafe in the area. I shop, I patronize businesses, I take my kids to school, I go do the grocery. I've never felt like the East was not safe. But also want to give credits to our law enforcement agency, our New Orleans Police Department, really stepping up and making sure that the community are protected, because public safety is really critical. It's important to me. It's important to the people in District E. And I will continue to work in collaboration like I did when I was in office, working with our chief at the District 7 as well as the District 5 to ensure that residents in District E are being heard, and that when issue comes up that they're responding to those issues on a timely manner. One of the things that I love to tackle is that, because I hear it over and over, that we don't have enough individuals that are signing up for NOPD. And I think that is one area that I definitely want to look at. How do we encourage people to become New Orleans police officer? I know that at one point, over when the MLK High School was open, there was a criminal justice curriculum in the high school that many of the community leaders there worked with NOPD as well as other agency to implement a criminal justice curriculum to really provide that education to our young people about joining the workforce. And then I think that could also be expanded into the college area to really make that field attractable. You know, last night we were on the debate, and I shared that my daughter, my second oldest daughter, just joined NOPD. So I'm honored to that we're service in my community continue beyond my time, and Alexis will be joining the academy in December of this year, and so continue to promote that.
Yeah, Mr. Hughes, about crime in New Orleans East.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanders. If you listen to the mainstream media, you would swear that New Orleans East is Gaza. You would think bullets are flying throughout New Orleans East 24/7, which could not be further from the truth. What the mainstream media does not report is the fact that New Orleans East has seen the largest drop in violent crime across the city of New Orleans. And we owe a debt of gratitude to the hardworking women and men of NOPD. The 7th District, when we look at New Orleans East, and certainly the 5th District when we think of the lower 9th Ward. But that effort began with a District E resident, Chief Michelle Woodfork, now Sheriff-elect Michelle Woodfork. When she was at the helm of NOPD, she implemented strategies that now Chief Kirkpatrick publicly says that she continues to follow Chief Woodfork's playbook. And so really want to give strong kudos to the great work that Chief Woodfork did. Now we have to keep the momentum going. I think one untapped partnership, and look, I'm all for strategic partnerships. One untapped partnership that we had 20 years ago, pre-Katrina, is Southern University at New Orleans. We once saw a robust criminal justice program at Southern University at New Orleans, robust social work program when we look at addressing root causes of crime. I'm really encouraged that Dr. Joe Bowie is now the chancellor of Southern University at New Orleans, because I think he will be a phenomenal leader and critical partner as we look to partner and put folks from the criminal justice program at SUNO into the NOPD pipeline. But then when we look at addressing mental health, behavioral health, SUNO and the social work department is going to be a key strategic partner in that effort. Root causes of crime, investing in our youth. So a very robust NORD, a very robust summer jobs program where we actually pay our youth on time is very critical. When I was a youth and Mayor Moriel was the mayor, we had a very robust summer jobs program where any youth that wanted a job qualified. So addressing the root causes of crime and keeping the momentum going with NOPD strategic partnerships are ways that we continue to keep crime low in New Orleans East and the Lower Ninth Ward.
Thank you. Mr. Sutton.
So some of the big projects that are intended to be a part of a New Orleans East revival include the Bayou Phoenix and Lincoln Beach projects. Essentially, they're in early development stages. Good to see them get to this point. Took far too long to get to this point, but we are where we are, and there are a number of people in New Orleans East, in particular and across the city, looking to see these projects move forward. Do you support each of these projects? What would you do to help quickly move these projects forward? And would you consider halting either or both and identifying other projects to support? Mr. Hughes.
Yes, I support both Lincoln Beach and Bayou Phoenix. And look, I support development, not only in New Orleans East. And I know the questions today are very New Orleans East heavy, but I'm going to keep uplifting the voices of the Lower Ninth Ward because they're interested in development as well. And there's lots of opportunities for development in the Lower Ninth Ward as well. And our next council person needs to be just as laser focused on the Lower Ninth Ward as New Orleans East. When it comes to Lincoln Beach, our residents are frustrated, to be quite blunt with you. They were promised an opening of 2025, then 2026, and now it looks like it's 2027 is the latest figure that's floating around. We continue to pour millions of dollars to consultants, to engineering and planning and design consultants. Change orders continue to come in. The project, if we keep spending money on consultants, the project will be bankrupt before anybody ever has a chance to lay on the beach and sunbathe. So I think that we need to now break up Lincoln Beach in phases, get the beach open, and you can take a phased approach in order to implement some of the bigger infrastructure. In terms of Bayou Phoenix, certainly look forward to continuing to partner with Bayou Phoenix. Look forward as the next council person to inviting Bayou Phoenix back to the community to give an update. Obviously, that is now in the hands of a private developer. And so I look forward to getting an update from Bayou Phoenix. But Doc and Will, look, there are other sites that we have to focus on as well. The Plaza site remains vacant 20 years post-Katrina. Kenilworth Mall remains vacant 20 years post-Katrina. A few years ago, 8 years ago, was used as a makeshift parking lot for 18-wheelers at the disgust and dismay of the residents. And so we need to work aggressively to put these sites into commerce. And when we look at the Lower Ninth Ward, ripe for growth, General Honore has made clear that he is investing in that community and has a robust plan for quality housing. I look forward to partnering with him on that.
Can you ask the question again?
Sure. Some of the big projects that are intended to be a part of a New Orleans East revival include the Bayou Phoenix and Lincoln Beach projects. Essentially, they're in early development stages, though we're really glad to see them getting to this point. Do you support each of these projects? What would you do to help quickly move these projects forward? And would you consider halting either or both and identifying other projects to support?
No, and again, for me, I'm very proud of the fact that we actually got the Lincoln Beach and the Bayou Phoenix on the map, because I truly believe that prior to me running, no one was talking about Lincoln Beach, and so I was very honored to be share of the program through many different community leaders about Lincoln Beach and the potential that it brings to the community. And so, no, I would not make plans to halt. I want to continue to look at strategy on how do we get Lincoln Beach reopened so that way the community can benefit and that the East could actually grow. As for Bayou Phoenix, I've been working with E-Raw Studio Jazzland in reference to their development, and they're the private entity that have been boots on the ground, really working that project and bring that into reality. And we're excited about that project coming online next year. And again, when we talk about economic development, we cannot forget about the Lower Nine area and the Holy Cross area. Those that is very vital. And listen, there's conversation and work are being planned to really bring in a true grocery store as well as other amenity, and then also being aggressive with bringing people back to the Low 9 area. And I've always stayed committed, was committed, and will continue to be committed to make sure that not just the East grow in economic development, but also the Low 9 area. And there are other areas in our district that are potentially growth, like the Kenilwood Shopping Center, like the Plaza, like the New Orleans Regional Business Park, and St. Kofa over in the Low 9 are doing robust work, really revitalizing that area, and then also opening opportunity for the Low 9 Economic Development Commission that also are boots on the ground, really tackling those issues and bringing true economic to the area. So I'm truly committed to make sure that we're there with our partners, with our community leaders, with our investor and our developer to make things happen in our district.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question, one of our callers earlier this morning, you probably know him. I won't call his name right now, but asked about the industrialization of the industrial canal, the grain train, moving of the locks. I'm not an expert on that. I don't live in District E myself. But talk to our listeners about your positions related to those two things and others related to that in particular. I think we'll start with Ms. Wynn this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so again, when I was a council member, I stood with the community. This is a project that the community made it very clear that they do not want because it would literally shut down the Low 9 area. And it's going to be shut down for a while. And people have worked really hard to rebuild the Low 9. There's efforts that are being done by community members, by partners, and we want to make sure that we continue those efforts. And so I continue to stand with the community to make sure that the lock project does not happen. Now, in reference to the grain train, it was very disappointing, Doc, to hear about the grain train project taking place without the community knowing it. I was very big on when things are happening in our district from the east to the Low 9. We always was very transparent to share that information with our community to make sure that they are engaged. And I know that the community are working to address this issue. I have attended several meetings and will continue to stand with them to make sure that the grain train project doesn't happen because it will disturb a lot of the infrastructure over there, the homes over there, and people have worked really hard to rebuild their home in that area. And so, so I'm against both the lock project and the green project, and I will continue to work alongside with the community to make sure we tackle, but then also to explore other ways on how we can get a solid solution result for our community to make sure that there is a win for the Lower 9 area.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
If you look at my 6-year record as the state representative for House District 100, I have always represented my district. I have always stood with my residents. That's what representative democracy is about. And so I'm on record with both of these projects, the lock project and the grain train. The community has resoundingly said no. And so my position is no. I have expressed that to the port in regards to the grain train. And I will continue to stand with the residents, bottom line.
Thank you. Mr. Sutton.
All right. So we're going to move to some rapid fire questions. We want to try to make sure that we get some additional listener questions in. So let's move to political labels. We sometimes have situations where people are identifying themselves by one label or another. I'll let Dr. Sanders pick it up.
Oh, all right. So he got me. We got our papers here. He switched up on me. So how would you describe yourself politically with a single word or two? Are you far left, liberal, progressive, centrist, moderate, far right? Are you MAGA? What? Tell us, how would you describe yourself?
One or two words.
One or two words. And Mr. Hughes first.
Progressive Democrat.
Progressive Democrat. Thank you.
Well, I'm using a quote, so
One or
I don't
two
want to
words?
use it without giving that person the credit. So.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. So as Shirley Chisholm once stated, I'm unbought and unbossed.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Are we sticking to the ground rules?
Yeah.
That was 3 and then a name. So,
Okay.
All right. So let's try to stick to that. Okay. So this is a yes or no question. Mayor-elect Helena Moreno has said she intends to keep New Orleans Police Chief Ann Kirkpatrick as the city's top cop. Do you support that decision? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Before we knew how bad the city's budget deficit situation was, Councilwoman Moreno said she was considering returning to a city administration with a deputy mayor structure. Do you like that idea? Yes or no?
I don't know.
You don't, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Governor Landry has requested National Guard troops arrive in for next month. Would you support bringing some of those troops to New Orleans East or the Lower Ninth Ward? Yes.
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. So let's move to a caller. We're going to skip these so we can get.
Great.
Okay. He's saying we got a couple. All right. Good morning, Deidre. You're on with State Representative Jason Hughes and former City Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen.
How y'all doing? Good morning. As a multimedia activist, I'm very concerned about the current things that have happened in our state of Louisiana. This marks the 65th anniversary of the New Orleans Four, the 4 6-year-old girls who desegregated public schools in New Orleans in 1960. And it is also the 60th anniversary of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, in which both of these two landmark watershed moments have now been rolled back, or they're attacking our voting rights. So my question is, for such a time as this, and this is to you, Mr. State Representative Hughes, and thank you for your service. But my concern is that we need really experienced people at the forefront, at the federal level and at the state level to represent our districts. And so there's so many Democratic leaders around the country who are standing 10 toes down. They're not leaving their posts. And so I'm concerned that you would leave your post and leave us at a place where we don't have any really strong people to represent the district at the state and, most importantly, the federal level. So, you know, please help us understand why it would be a good thing for you to leave now.
Well, thank you very much. You know, we hear the word transparency a lot. So Ms. Deidre Meredith should have probably disclosed that she is a staunch supporter of Ms. Cindy Nguyen. So she probably should have led off with that. But nice try with the question. Let me just say, I'm very proud of my record in Baton Rouge. We're currently in a special session in which I'm fighting very, very hard. But I am ready to come home and represent District E on the New Orleans City Council, because enough is enough. 20 years post-Katrina, it is time for us to get our fair share. We need a fighter who can deliver. We need a proven leader. We need a new generation of leadership. We need no more false promises, no more excuses but results. And so that is why I'm running. And the same way I fight and lead, I thank you for acknowledging my record and effectiveness in Baton Rouge. And that same level of effectiveness I will bring to the New Orleans City Council. So thank you so much for that question.
Okay, thank you. We've got another caller. Ms. Shawn, you're on with State Representative Jason Hughes and former City Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen.
Good morning, everyone. My question is, can you give us some specific things that you have in mind to grow the Lower Nine? And secondly, what do you have in place to put us together as one again, being that it has been separated, Lower Nine and District E? I hate to say it. When was in office, it seemed a separation came. What is your plan for Lower Nine and to merge us back together as one? Because when I hear people talk, they either specific about the East or specific about the Lower Nine, not as a whole together.
You may go first. So much, Sean. I know that when I was in office, we've always worked in collaboration, and my focus was always for both the East and the Low Nine. So I'm not sure why you're feeling that way, because I spent quite a lot of time developing strategies and coming up with initiatives, and that's why we came up with initiatives in reference to the mode to own and working in partnership with the lot next door to address a lot of the vacant lots in the back of town area, as well as working with the community to create and design the Richard Lee Playground, and then working with Nora and local developer in the Low Nine to really address those vacant lots and build affordable homes in the area. And that is something that I'm very committed. I will continue to do that. And even most recently in August, you were with me at the North Claiborne, and we were working to clean up the Katrina Memorial. And so I have never been shy from going over to the Low 9. It kind of felt like when I was in the office, I was there almost every other day tackling the issue, not just in back of town, but also in Holy Cross area, dealing with a lot of abandoned property, vacant property that has sat there since Katrina. And my commitment continued to stay the same. And I hope that, once I get back, we'll be able to really restart and reconnect a lot of our partnership. And again, my commitment has always been about the East and the Low 9 in our district.
Representative Hughes.
Well, thank you for the question. And unfortunately, I do sense some division brewing, in the lower Ninth Ward, and some attempting to separate and cause division and factions within the lower Ninth Ward. It was interesting as I listened to some of the responses today. I heard references to the lower Ninth Ward and Holy Cross, as if Holy Cross is not a part of the lower Ninth Ward. Last time I checked, the Holy Cross neighborhood is within the lower Ninth Ward. And so when we look at the lower Ninth Ward, we have to look at the lower Ninth Ward globally. But to answer the question, obviously quality housing, growing the lower Ninth Ward is a key priority for me. Just as I want to tackle commercial and residential blight aggressively in New Orleans East, the same thing for the lower Ninth Ward, really improving and focusing on the image of the lower Ninth Ward and attracting economic investment. But there is certainly an extraordinary opportunity to grow the lower Ninth Ward with quality housing stock. And so that's one of the first things that I'd like to focus on.
Thank you both so far for all the knowledge and information you've shared. Thank you, callers, for calling in and helping us out. We're moving to our close, and so you each will have 2 minutes. They're about to offer a closing statement, and then Mr. Sutton will close out our show for this morning. So let me see, who was first?
So I'll close first.
Okay, great. All right.
Well, first of all, Will and Dr. Sander, thank you so much for having me. And thank you to the WBOK listener in District E for this opportunity. So to share my vision and just to commit to the people of District E again. Again, I'm running again because I believe deeply in the community, in our families, in our business, our faith leaders, and our young people who deserve to grow with hope and opportunity. During my time on the City Council, we brought new businesses to District E, improved infrastructure, and created partnerships that put our neighborhoods on a path forward. But there was still more work to do. I'm not done fighting for us. District E deserves leadership that listens, acts, and delivers. I understand the challenges we face because I live them every day. I know what it means to rebuild after loss, to bring people together across differences, and to lead with compassion and accountability. My focus will always be on result: cleaner streets, safer neighborhoods, better jobs, stronger youth programs, and renewed pride in where we live. Together, we will build a district that is thriving, united, and full of opportunity for everyone. I ask for your trust, your vote, not just for me, but for the future we can create together. Let's keep moving District E forward. Number 55 on your ballot. Thank you so much for this opportunity again.
Well, Will, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sanders. And let me once again thank WBOK for the opportunity to be here this morning. I'm Jason Hughes. Many of you may not know my name, but you most certainly know my work. I am not known for being a show horse, but my reputation is that of being a workhorse. And for the past 6 years, I have delivered. I have delivered millions of dollars for District 100. I have taken on bullies. I have taken on slumlords. I have taken on child sexual predators. I have delivered, and I have done the work. Now, let me just say to my honorable opponent, I appreciate her stepping up yet again to offer herself a public service. This is now her 4th time running for New Orleans City Council. She offered herself in 2010, 2017, 2021, and now again in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, if we want different results for District E, we are going to have the audacity to do something different. It is time for District E to get its fair share. And that's going to mean everybody's going to have to put some skin in the game. For example, president of Tulane University, at a time when we're talking about a budget crisis in the city of New Orleans, The president of Tulane University, living in his $1 million mansion in Audubon Place, pays no property taxes. That mansion is exempt from property taxes because it's owned by Tulane. But the chancellor of SUNO pays his property taxes. So I think we have to bring some tax fairness to our system. I'm one that will force tough conversations. District E, it's time for us to move forward, but we can never move forward by moving backwards. I'm Jason Hughes. I'm number 50 on the ballot. I humbly ask for your support.
Well, thank you. Thank you both for spending this time with us today here on WBOK, the Good Morning Show. And thank you, Reverend Dr. Professor, Pastor Sanders, for joining us this morning and helping us out. And thank you, callers and listeners, those of you who have provided questions in advance. You've helped make this a more engaging and good forum. And we want to remind all of you, as we're going to do every day, that early voting starts on November 1 and continues through November 8. Election day is November 15th. Those who are eligible can request an absentee or mail ballot and return it before 4:30 p.m. on November 14, which is the day before Election Day. However, you do not need to wait to return your ballot. You can return your ballot anytime between now and then. Anything could happen on that afternoon, so make sure you complete your ballot. If you do have a mail ballot, you can have the opportunity to, instead of using that ballot, you can vote early between November 1 and November 8, or you can vote on Election Day, or you can use the ballot in the comfort of your home and get it in. This District E runoff is very important. Yes, there are a number of seats determined, but this seat will determine a lot of things for the residents of District E and for our city. The city is facing a budget deficit and a need to fund government through various sources as we look for revenue and now looking for a municipal payday loan. The person who is in this seat will be in the seat for the next 4 years and be a part of turning the city around in ways that are first fiscally fit and financially sound, and doing what's best for City Council District E. Thank you all for joining us today. Remember the names Jason Hughes and Cindy Wynn. Pay attention, educate yourself, and vote. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
All day long.
Up next,
Senior, owner of Whole Water and Food Over Medicine Academy, coach, consultant, and instructor. We're excited